Hey, Dr. Mike here. So, if you want to live forever-ish, you have to know what's in and what's not. Stay tuned to find out.
You're listening to Live Foreverish, a show dedicated to helping you live just a little longer. Here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Crystal Gossard.
All right, welcome to Live Forever-ish, the ins and outs of living forever-ish, Dr. Crystal. These are 3 things you want to do or exceed at, and there's one thing that you don't want or you want to avoid as much as you can, right? And this is about living not just longer, but stronger, healthy lifespan.
Yep, right? A healthy health span.
Health span. Yeah, I always say it right. Health span. That's right. All right. So first on the list, number 1 for living forever-ish is a healthy microbiome, but specifically we're referring to a nutrient that I really wasn't aware of for a healthy microbiome, Dr. Crystal, and that's cranberry.
Yes, the cranberry seems to be, I guess it wasn't really surprising to me, Dr. Mike, because we know that cranberries are full of antioxidant polyphenols. And I know the polyphenols that at one point were considered kind of a prebiotic because they're poorly absorbed into the bloodstream. So they kind of hang out in the gut, and the gut microbes like to digest them and metabolize them. And so they have been classified as prebiotics. I think what stands out with cranberry is the researchers think maybe it's not the polyphenols. Maybe it's they're kind of exploring some of the other components in cranberry, some of the complex carbohydrates. And then the other thing that stands out is the duration, just 4 days. So short-term supplementation with cranberry extract modulates gut microbiota in humans and displays a bifidogenic effect. That's the title of the study.
Right. No, that's fantastic. So, I guess, so we already have our probiotics that we take for a healthy microbiome. We need prebiotics. Maybe that's where this could fit in. But it looks like, if you're really wanting to rev up your gut health, cranberry might be something to consider to add.
Yes. And it was a cranberry extract, which we like our extracts. This particular extract was standardized to 109 milligrams of polyphenols, but during the analysis of the extract, the researchers found 125 milligrams of complex carbohydrates. And so the individuals were asked before the study to refrain from foods that contained cranberry flavonoids for a week. And then they started the cranberry extract. And that was for 4 days.
That's pretty awesome. And I think the extract here is really important because cranberries are sour, and so usually your cranberry juices, sauces, stuff like that, they load it up with sugar, right? To balance that. And so I think here the extract is critical.
Yeah, well, that's where you're going to get the concentrated antioxidants as well with the extract. And then, when you look at standardization, especially with the study, these 28 participants, now all participants are receiving the exact amount of those active constituents from the cranberry. That's kind of the beauty of the extracts, is being able to make sure individuals are receiving every pill, everything receives contains the exact amount.
Right. And that exact amount's often studied. We know what those doses and standardizations need to be. That's why it's easy to do it that way, right? You're getting that, you're getting the optimal amount every time you take that capsule.
That's right. And in this study, the participants, they took the cranberry, and then stool samples were collected before and after the treatment. And that's where we're seeing the improvements in the diversity of the bacteria, specifically the bifidobacteria, the butyrate producing bacteria in the stools, We know that's important. It's kind of one of those byproducts and those metabolites that's created from your good bacteria.
Yeah,
Is
true.
kind of short chain fatty acids, and butyrate is one of our important short chain fatty acids that has a profound impact in the body.
Yeah, and you mentioned that diversity improving. That as we more and more we're research is showing the diversity of those healthy gut bugs is extremely important. So that's great to see. So that's in number one, cranberry extract improving your microbiome health. All right, let's move on to in number two, and it's bacteriophages. Now, a lot of you maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't heard of them. It's pretty awesome information coming up here, because I will tell you, Dr. Crystal, I don't know if you know this, but bacteriophages were some of the original antibiotics that were
Oh.
used years and years and years ago before the traditional antibiotics. And I know we're going to get into that. So I find this topic very interesting. So let's just for the audience, let's
Mhm.
keep it real simple and clear. What's a bacteriophage?
Yeah, so we can start with the name. So bacterial means derived from bacteria, and phages is Greek for that means devour. So these are viruses that only infect bacteria. They seek and selectively eliminate harmful bacteria, only harmful bacteria, especially in the gut. And so, as you mentioned, these were the original antibiotics. Yes, back when we had bacterial infections and we did not have antibiotics, these phages would go in and selectively target that harmful bacteria that was causing the infection and make you well again. Now, of course, nowadays we have broad spectrum antibiotics,
Powerful ones.
very powerful.
Knock out everything.
They're killing the good and the bad.
They're just
Dr.
knocking
Mike.
out everything. They're just coming in and clearing everything out.
And we're realizing now that maybe that's not such a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. And it's becoming an issue overuse of antibiotics, not just in humans, Dr. Crystal, but in, taking care of our livestock. There's just antibiotics are all over the place, and that's caused some resistant issues to pop up. And it is very concerning. There are diseases that we've been able to treat fairly well with antibiotics that are making a comeback. Tuberculosis just comes to the top of my head. And so, needing more research in ways to kill these bad bacteria, I think, is necessary. And it's nice to see us going back into history a little bit and talking about bacteriophages. So they target a specific bacteria. They can kill and clear out that bacteria. How does that help the probiotics that a lot of people are taking?
Yeah, so when you combine bacteriophages with probiotics, then those bacteriophages can come out, clear out the bad guys. I think about it as real estate and resources. And if you can get decrease the numbers of bad, harmful bacteria, then the probiotics are able to thrive. They
Yeah.
are able to survive. And one cool thing is when the bacteriophages, when they kill the harmful bacteria, that harmful bacteria releases its content and it creates food for the good
The good
bacteria.
guy. Yeah.
So they kind of have a prebiotic effect in the body as well, which all of that translates into better diversity. And I know you mentioned, well, this is sort of similar to our last topic with cranberry,
Yeah.
but ultimately better gut health, which translates to better whole body health.
Is it? There is no doubt. I don't know if it's at the top of the list. It's close to the top of the list. If you want to live forever-ish, you got to have a healthy gut.
That's right.
Period. And so I'm glad to see that we've included two ends about a healthy microbiome. Let's go on to in number 3. I'm interested in this because I kind of want to know what you think about it. But this is exercise snacks. But what exactly are exercise snacks? Am I eating this during exercise, before? Like what is this?
Guess what? It has nothing to do with food. I read about this in the Life Extension magazine, the October 2024, and I was reading an article. You know, we have some of our researchers, they go to conferences and they come back and they report all the good information that they've learned at conferences, and we publish some of those conference updates in the magazine. So I was reading the conference update. It was an exercise updates. And then I saw exercise snacks. And you know, I like food, Dr. Mike. I'm like, oh, let's check this out. And then I realized what this means is brief periods of exercise all throughout the day. So instead of trying to take, you know, you do your 20 minutes on your elliptical, instead of taking a chunk of time, which many people may not have that time to do, you break it up into snack size bouts of exercise. So isolated, less than 1 minute bouts of vigorous exercise performed periodically throughout the day. It doesn't have to be as structured as like going to the gym and doing one particular thing. And there seems to be it's kind of a little trend now.
Interesting. Yeah. So I guess so I'm picturing people like at work, right? So that means, you know, what you said, how often do we do the snacks? What was that?
So, you know, you do it about 6 times a day.
All right. So it only has to be for 1 minute or so, right? So they get up out of their desk and maybe they do squat thrusts around the office building or something, or like whatever. Is that what this is? Or a bunch of push-ups for a minute? So, you know,
yes. Yeah. Yes. So there are a couple of options that I've read in the research. So 60 steps of stairs as quickly as possible. So get away from your desk. If you have a staircase, boom, 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 up, down the stairs, or, you know, just do those stairs really quick.
And make sure when you do the stairs, you go up too. Don't just count it going down. You got to go up. That's the hard part.
Whoa, Dr. Mike, I never even thought that someone would count going down the stairs.
Come on. Yes,
the exercise.
There's a lot of people out there like me, Dr. Crystal, who do that.
Yes, but jumping jacks, like 10 jumping jacks, 10 air squats. That's kind of where you squat. And then as you're coming up, you kind of jump up and then you go back down in your squat. So kind of like hoppy squats, but they're called air squats, lunges, as you mentioned. And so you're doing this throughout the day. I saw people at work doing this. Our customer service department, this was years ago, but they had a challenge, and every hour they stopped and did push-ups. I can't remember how many they were doing.
Well, it's okay. Just do as many you can, and it gets better, you know, over time.
Yeah.
So would my resistant bands count here? I could get my resistance bands out and do some stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so what we're seeing is that there are cardiometabolic benefits. It doesn't, you kind of work up a sweat, you get your heart rate up. And there are benefits with, you don't have to take a set of time to exercise, right. Get it in the best way that you can. And this can be done home, office, school setting.
I like it.
And so those are exercise snacks. Dr.
I like it.
I think it's cool.
It's practical, right? It allows people to get the exercise they need in. Here, this can be done on a daily basis. It's not anything crazy. You do it hard for a minute or so, and you know, and you go on with your day. You sit back down and do the work you got to do. I think this is great. I think this is great for really busy people.
Yes,
right?
I agree. Right? And you know, this is combating what I call desk syndrome where we sit all day. Remember, but there
yeah,
was an article in the news a while back, sitting is the new smoking.
yeah,
We
yeah,
don't move enough. And so this is giving us another reason to get up from the desk.
yeah.
I'm sure it helps with performance at work because you're getting more blood flow, get some endorphins going, and now you sit back down and you're ready to take on your next task.
Love it. I think that's fantastic. So exercise snacks, give it a try and see if you like it. And you can throw in some real snacks in there too if you want, I'm sure. Okay, we're going to go to what is out now. So those are the 3 ins for living foreverish. The first 2 all about healthy microbiome. The second one about staying active. Being physically active is high on that list too for living foreverish. And exercise snacks are a great way maybe to get that in on a daily basis. So out. This is what you don't want. This is the thing you want to avoid. And in this case, we have negative self-talk. And I'm going to read this stat here. According to the National Science Foundation, the average person has 12,000, oh my gosh, to 60,000 thoughts per day, and 80% of those are negative. And here's the thing, Dr. Crystal, you know what? The brain is more likely to remember the negative stuff than the good stuff.
It's so sad. Those
Jeez.
stats really are really sad. We beat ourselves up every day, and there's power in our thoughts. There is power in our words, and the negative self-talk can contribute to not only mental health challenges, but it impacts us physically as well. And
Yeah.
so, we do have some tips, but it is something that you need to be aware of and try to replace those
Yeah, for
negative
sure.
thoughts with positive thoughts every chance you can.
Yeah, and it's this there's research showing this. There's research showing positive self-talk can improve a lot of the mood disorders, cardiovascular health, cancer, prognosis. I mean, there's a whole bunch there, even longevity. And so, yeah, I mean, that the power of your thoughts can work both ways. If it's positive, it can help your health. If it's negative, it definitely can damage it, right?
That's right. So how can you practice this every day? One tip and one thing to think about is, I put it in the category of being kind to yourself, but don't say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to anyone else.
Oh, yeah,
Unprovoked, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's pretty good, right? I like that. I think that's a really a good tip. I have my own tip. Can I share it?
Of course.
I've always I've tried to follow this, and I've taught this a little bit. Whenever you do have a negative thought pop into your head, it's there, the thought's there, but recognize it, stop it, and now you have to say 3 things that you're grateful for in your life. So if you're sitting there and you're like, "Oh, you did that, Mike, that's so stupid. What? You know what? I have a job and I love my job, and and overall I do a pretty darn good job." You just change it with 3 things.
Hmm. I love that. And so that's emphasizing the positive in your life. And I like the power of threes, saying those 3 affirmations. And then you can also write them down. I love post-it notes. I don't know if you all can see see my post-it notes, but I have them on my computer screen, and these are reminders. I have them in my calendar. I wake up in the morning and I put a positive affirmation that I see as soon as I log into my computer. So you have to be intentional as well, Dr.
For
Mike. You
sure.
have to put
Yeah.
in the work.
I think, and I don't have an answer for it. It's just we're human. It's part of who we are. We tend to go quickly and easier to the negative. And I don't know if that's a survival mechanism. I mean, who knows? People can study that, whatever. But we're almost kind of geared towards that. What's that? Danger thing.
Yes.
And that I think causes a lot of this. That's where a lot of this comes from. And it's just, and so yeah, you have to kind of retrain your brain. You got to be intentional about this. That's why I like my 1 and 3 thing, because I'm being intentional now with 3 things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got your sticky notes. You read them every day. That's intentional, and I think that's really important. So so negative self-talk isn't out, but you know what's an in? Positive self-talk.
That's right.
Living forever-ish, positive self-talk. I still can't believe that statistic. 80% of our thoughts are basically negative about ourselves. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Hey, there you go. 3 ins and an out for living forever-ish. Great information. If you go check out lifeextension.com, our sponsor would like to offer you a discount, 10% off $50 or more, plus free shipping and handling. Use the code podcast when you check out. They just want to say thank you because you guys are an awesome audience. Don't forget at liveforeverish.com, tons of other episodes to download, like, and share, and comment, and of course, subscribe so you never miss a show. That's liveforeverish.com. I'm Dr. Mike. That's
Dr. Crystal.
Thanks for listening.